In the midst of a powerful crypto bull market where every altcoin promises the moon, how do you filter out the noise to find the real gold? What if there was a way to not only participate in the rally, but to target the altcoins that are poised to skyrocket, outperforming giants like Bitcoin and Ethereum? Well, this video is your roadmap to the top 10 altcoins to buy now. Top relative strength cryptos with the explosive potential to dominate the market. Before we embark on this thrilling journey to altcoin mastery, let's ensure you're on board for every future insight. Hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell to stay ahead in the crypto game. I'm Deron Wagner, your guide with over 20 years of trading experience and the founder of Morpheus Trading Group. With a laser-focused strategy on relative strength, we navigate the vast ocean of crypto, pinpointing altcoins set for massive growth. And today, I'm here to share those secrets with you. And here's why you'll want to stick around till the very end. We've got a special bonus analysis of Bitcoin coming up. I'll be showing you valid buy points into Bitcoin, offering you a potentially relatively low risk opportunity to get on board with BTC. So whether you're looking for a valid entry point or simply curious about where Bitcoin is headed next, this bonus analysis at the end of our video is just for you. Let's dive in. In a booming crypto bull market, the excitement of rising prices offers endless possibilities. Yet this golden age also brings challenges, especially when nearly every altcoin climbs alongside the broader market. You see, the real skill is not just in joining the rally, but in achieving explosive gains by identifying true altcoin leaders that have the potential to substantially outperform Bitcoin and Ethereum. At MTG, our method is kind of like mapping the vast crypto sea, where each coin glimmers like a hidden gem under the waves. But not every shimmer is gold, and the real challenge is in finding a treasure chest among the individual scattered coins. Imagine if you had a map that not only shows you every sparkle under the water, but leads you to the most valuable treasures. This is the core of using relative strength, a hallmark of the MTG crypto trading strategy. Soon, we'll dive into walking you through the charts of the top 10 altcoins filled with the most potential based on their relative strength. But first, it's crucial to understand the cycles of the crypto market. Currently, we see on the left side here, Bitcoin is taking a rest in consolidation mode for nearly 2 weeks, trading sideways after recently breaking out to a new 52-week high earlier in the month. However, while Bitcoin is trading sideways, consolidating, notice how Ethereum has just broken out to a new 52-week high. This cycle is a deliberate sequence that repeats itself over and over. It often starts with Bitcoin recovering after a major downturn, and then is followed by Ethereum and the leading altcoins. So we're at a moment right now that might signal the beginning of a new altcoin bull market, because Ethereum is rallying, and when Ethereum shifts into consolidation mode, we may start to see top altcoins shine. So this video is not just educational, this is your path to profit from the upcoming shift. The fear of missing out is real. Skipping this video might mean missing out on the next market leaders. The step from watching to excelling could be the breakthrough in your crypto trading adventure. So as we move to our live chart analysis now, starting with Ethereum, remember, it's about identifying altcoins ready for significant growth. Our focus on relative strength is meant to guide you through the brightest opportunities in this thriving bull market. So let's go ahead and take a look at Ethereum, the queen of crypto. And this is crucial because generally the rest of the altcoin market follows rallies in Ethereum. So currently we've got Ethereum breaking out to a new 52-week high. Ethereum only traded sideways for about 5 days and just broke out to a new 52-week high yesterday. Notice here, this is really important, how this green line, that's the 8-day exponential moving average or 8-day EMA. Notice how this perfectly has acted as support since Ethereum broke out. That's a sign of a really strong uptrend. Whenever each time we get a pullback to this level, the buyers step in, that means we've got a very strong uptrend. So you can see here, Ethereum didn't even dip below, didn't even undercut the 8-day EMA over the past week, just came into support after a few days of consolidation and broke out to a new high on increasing volume. So Ethereum is looking great here, and definitely that's a good sign, because when Ethereum enters into consolidation mode and starts to pause like Bitcoin, that's when we may start to see funds rotate out of Ethereum and into the top relative strength altcoins that we're going to dive into right now. This is our list of the top 10 altcoins we're going to be walking through here. First on our list was Ethereum, because Ethereum itself is looking like a great play. However, it's important to understand that we don't chase breakouts. If we miss a breakout entry, we wait for a pullback, which provides us with a lower risk entry point. And that's going to be the focus of all these charts. We're going to show you that they're all rallying and breaking out, but we don't just chase them. We look for low risk entry points with a high risk reward. So in terms of Ethereum itself, it's not anywhere where we can get a low risk buy point at this point. But if we get a consolidation period for a couple of weeks and the moving averages rise up, especially the 20-day EMA, then we could be looking at a potential Ethereum entry. But for our swing trade strategy, Ethereum is really just a benchmark for us right now. First up, let's look at ALT ALT. And in last week's video, we told you that we made a 37% gain in ALT when we bought it on February 7th and sold it into strength on February 19th for a 37% gain. And after that, we told all of our members of the MTG Crypto Tribe, we said we're going to be looking for a potential re-entry point, either on a pullback or after a bit of consolidation. And that's what we're seeing right now. In fact, ALT has just pulled back to its 8-day EMA, and over the past several days been holding support of that 8-day EMA. And notice how it's done so on lighter volume. The pullback on lighter volume is key because we want to see volume increasing on the way up and lighter volume on the pullback or during the consolidation. That indicates that the sellers are not stepping in as soon as the buyers take a rest. So this is good volume pattern and good price action that we're seeing here. And one of the things we really like about ALT is it's a recent ICO. We talked about that thoroughly in our last video about the importance of trading recent ICOs, because if they're just launched in the market within the past year or so, there's not a lot of overhead supply, like people that got stuck at higher prices that are looking to sell when the price rallies. For example, ALT, notice how it's just broken out to a new all-time high, trading above its ICO high, and now it's pulling back. So what we're looking at here is that breakout level should now act as support, okay? Because this was prior resistance, now that becomes support. That's the most basic tenet of technical analysis, is that a prior level of resistance becomes the new support after you break through that resistance level. So on a pullback, this should provide us with support. We've also got support of the rising 20-day EMA. So if we do get a dip below this 8-day EMA, we've got plenty of support here with the horizontal price support and a rising 20. So we like that major support. We like the risk reward of a potential pullback entry here. And if you're a member of the MTG Crypto Tribe, please note our trade alert with our exact entry and exit prices that we sent out to you yesterday. Next on our list, also another recent ICO that began trading towards the end of last year in November. And very much like ALT has just recently broken out above its ICO highs. We broke out above it and pulled back. Now, unlike ALT, PYTH dipped a little bit below, but that's okay. We often see a little bit of an undercut of support levels that run stops and absorb supply. So that's not a bad thing. So we've got PYTH is now pulled back to support of its rising 20-day EMA, which is now converging with horizontal price support. And we've got the 8-day EMA above. Notice how the volatility is contracting. We had a lot of volatility. Now over the past 2 days, we have a very tight volatility. So when you get that volatility contraction, that often precedes a volatility expansion. So we could see a breakout in either direction here in PYTH. I say either direction because a volatility contraction doesn't mean prices are going to go up, but it means we're going to see a breakout in either direction. Now, since the price of PYTH is already in an uptrend, odds would favor an upside breakout and a resumption potentially to new highs. But keep an eye on PYTH. If you're looking for an entry here, right near this level is reasonable, with a stop below the lows of the past 5 days. If we dip below that, you're out quick. So you've got a good risk reward. You got a tight stop here and a potential for significant profits if it continues higher. PYTH is not currently in our portfolio, but we are monitoring for potential buy entry on a move above the high of the past 2 days. Next up is SEI. SEI was another crypto that we discussed in last week's video as a top relative strength leader. In fact, much like ALT, we recently closed SEI for a big gain. We bought on February 5th. We bought actually on the move above the 50-day EMA here on this pullback. And we sold it into strength on February 14th. And we locked in a gain of 46.7% on this move. And we actually got out before the last move to the highs there. We sold into strength because of resistance of these prior highs, which turned out to be not a bad idea because we pulled back in below that level. SEI is looking solid here because it has just recently broken out to new highs. And it's got the 50-day EMA below with the 20-day EMA acting as support. And we're currently undercutting a little bit below this prior support level. We wouldn't want to see it go any lower. So we've got to stop just below the low of this pullback here. But if we hold up here above this, find support here at this 20-day EMA, this could lead to another breakout to new highs. Again, keep in mind that what we're looking for now is not only cryptos that have shown relative strength over the past couple of days, but those that have also broken out to new 52-week highs or new all-time highs. Those are the leaders that we're looking for. And to help you with that, keep an eye on the weekly charts. We always start by scanning the weekly charts to give us an idea of the big picture. For example, you look at the weekly chart, you can see SEI is definitely in a clearly established uptrend, very, very strong uptrend. It's up 900% in the past several months. Big volume on the weekly up bars and lighter volume on the pullback. So we like that weekly. And then we zoom into the daily to look for more precision potential trade setups. So SEI is another one, another former leader you want to keep an eye on. And next up is RNDR, RNDR. And this has really been showing a lot of relative strength over the past couple of weeks. Notice how it broke out ahead of Ethereum's recent breakout to new highs. And again, on the weekly chart, we look at the weekly, we see that it's actually testing its all-time highs here, which is also a recent ICO, well, from 2022, not that recent, but nevertheless, there's not a lot of overhead supply. And RNDR got a little bit ahead of itself. Over the past week, we said in the chat room that we've been looking for an entry point, but remember, we don't chase. So we're not going to buy as the price is ripping here. We either buy the breakout above consolidation, or if we miss the breakout, we wait for the first pullback to support. And that's where we're at right now with RNDR. It's on a slight pullback. It's actually forming a bull flag pattern here. And we're looking for a potential undercut of this 8-day EMA, a move that dips below, runs the stops, possibly below the low of this past 4 days. And we've got the rising 20-day EMA to provide support. So if we get a dip below this 8-day EMA and undercut, we then wait for confirmation of the price, such as a bullish reversal bar. And that would be our cue to enter it back in when we get back above this 8-day EMA. So RNDR is looking good. Now do keep an eye on this volume. There was some significant volume on the sell side after we get the stalling action up here. And notice those long wicks on the candlesticks, which also indicates indecision. So we might want to see a little more of a washout in RNDR, potentially all the way down to the 20-day EMA, which would really give us a great risk reward for entry point. Next up on our list is SUI. SUI is also another former leader that's really been performing well. And if you take a look at the weekly chart, we can see that SUI is in a steady uptrend on the weekly chart, well above its short-term moving averages, and also rallying on strong volume. Drilling down to the daily chart, we do see that SUI has lost some short-term relative strength over the past week or two. It slipped below its 8 and 20-day EMAs, but still holding above its 50 and still holding at support of the prior breakout level. So if we get a little wave of buying in the altcoin market, we could definitely see SUI snap back above the 8 and 20-day EMA. In fact, this is a trade setup that we're keeping an eye on for potential buy entry in the MTG crypto tribe. What we're looking at here, notice this downtrend line we've got from the highs. Do you notice how that downtrend line converges with the 8 and the 20-day EMAs? So that convergence point is really powerful because when you've got multiple resistance levels converging, when the price moves above that level, it becomes all the more powerful of a breakout because you're breaking out not above one resistance level, but multiple resistance levels. And that's what we're looking at here with SUI. So we've been telling everybody in our chat room, keep an eye on SUI because this could be in play for potential swing entry on a breakout above this confluence, basically above the $1.68 level, 1.68. Again, if you're a member of the tribe, keep an eye out for a trade alert with our exact entry and stop prices if we do enter SUI. Next up is SUPER. And SUPER is another stealth, I call this stealth relative strength. It kind of snuck up very sneakily, rallying higher because it had a first wave up and then we had a nice multi-month base of consolidation formed and another leg higher. And again, volume was big on the move up. And on the daily chart, it's got good relative strength. Again, what we like about this here is this multi-month base. The longer a base of consolidation, the more powerful and the more likely the breakout will stick when it eventually breaks out. And that's what we've got going here with SUPER. We broke out, pulled back to the 8-day EMA. The 8 didn't hold, and that's okay. But the 20-day EMA held, and that's what happens often in a steady uptrend. And now we're heading back up, and the price has moved back above the 8-day EMA. And we're actually in this trade already in the portfolio, and it looks good with the stop below the pullback of the swing low. Nice thing about these pullback entries is you can clearly define your stop placement. It makes it very easy to know where to place your stop because you simply put it below the support. I mean, if the price comes back below this swing low, we don't want to be in it anymore because that means it's broken below the swing low. It's formed a lower low. It's broken below the 8 and the 20-day EMA. So next stop would be all the way back down to the 50-day EMA. So we wouldn't want to be in that. But SUPER is looking really nice. if you're not already in, a small pullback to the 8-day EMA just above the $1 level could provide you with a relatively low risk entry point. Next is FET is interesting. This is actually part of the AI sector, which is a really hot sector right now, as you may know, unless you've been living under a rock. AI is very hot. And we had a nice breakout in this. This is actually an early stage leader ahead of the market. We had back in October, when the rest of the market was not in rally mode yet, we had a nice rally from October all the way up to December. Then we got about 2-month pullback into the 20-week EMA and then blasted higher here over the past few weeks on strong volume. So FET is definitely back, and notice how it's broken out above this range. Now it's in consolidation mode over the past 5 days, holding above the 8-day EMA. We had big volume on the breakout. We did have some higher volume when we took some profits here, but we're still looking pretty solid on the FET chart. And actually, FET is in the same sector as AGIX, the next one on our list. FET and AGIX are both AI sector cryptos, and AGIX looks even better than FET because FET has actually shown a little bit more stalling action and higher volume at the highs, whereas AGIX is showing more bullish price action and volume pattern near the highs. Still consolidating. It's more of a correction by time, moving sideways, than a correction by price, and that's really bullish when we see that. So definitely AGIX is on our radar. We want to see this consolidate, ideally at least another week or two, which would enable the moving averages to rise up and provide support. Or if we get a pullback that dips down to undercut the 8-day EMA, that could provide a potential buy point as well. Looking at the weekly chart, we see AGIX is a recent ICO launching less than a year ago. And this was the breakout point at 59 cents. I doubt we get a move all the way back down there. We wouldn't want to see a move down that far, but it is blue skies because we're at a new all-time high. So AGIX is one of the top plays on our pullback watch list right now. And finally, Pendle, PENDLE. Now, Pendle, I want to point out to you that most of our trades that we list for our members are actually available on one of the major centralized exchanges like Coinbase or Kraken. But Pendle is actually not available on any of the major US exchanges, although it is available on Binance. And to trade Pendle, though, you can trade through a decentralized exchange such as Uniswap, keeping the crypto on your own wallet. Now, this is something that we haven't talked a lot about in the MTG crypto service because we keep it simple, letting people trade cryptos that are in the centralized exchanges. However, drop me a comment if you'd like to see a video or future content talking about how to trade on decentralized exchanges. Drop a comment and let us know if you'd like to see this because it's a topic that can really supercharge your portfolio, giving you opportunities that would not be available on some of the centralized exchanges. So PENDLE was a leader well ahead of the market. Notice here, in fact, let's go ahead and look at our 2-chart setup. And I want to put Ethereum on this side. This is a good thing that you can do to compare relative strength. Okay, and this is, you'll see what I mean here. Take a look at this, how when you see Pendle broke out, Pendle started breaking out in January, mid-January, and broke out to a new high and started trending higher. So from January 10th to February 13th, basically for a month, January 10th to February 10th, we had Pendle in a steady uptrend. But looking at Ethereum, from January 10th to February 10th, it was sideways, rallied, stalled, rallied. So notice how Pendle showed early leadership by rallying ahead of ETH. And that's really key, early relative strength. So it's not surprising then that while ETH is breaking out to new highs, that Pendle's on a pullback. It's out of sync with the market because it led the market. But now the price action remains strong. The pattern looks good. We got the first touch of the 50-day EMA since the breakout. And typically that first pullback that touches the 50-day EMA is a relatively low-risk buy point. So we like that perfect bounce off the 50-day EMA. And now it's just consolidating right at confluence of the 8 and 20-day EMAs. So if we get a move above this 5-day high, back above the 290 level, we could see a resumption of this dominant uptrend and potentially a breakout to new highs. So for those of you that trade on decentralized exchanges, Pendle is definitely one to consider. And if you're not yet trading on decentralized exchanges and you're wondering what the heck that is, again, drop us a comment, let us know, show your vote of support, and we will get some content together for you. Finally, I did promise if you stick around to the end of the video that we do some analysis on Bitcoin to show you where you may be able to consider another buy point on Bitcoin. So again, we've got Bitcoin in consolidation mode here. We can draw a little rectangle around it to show you the consolidation pattern. And a consolidation is also known as a base. This is bullish. Typically, when you get a rally, after a rally, you either get a pullback or you get consolidation. And consolidation is also known as a correction by time. This is bullish. It's basically just, instead of going lower, the buyers are taking a rest, giving the moving average has a chance to rise up and provide support. So we've got a consolidation pattern going now, a little bit less than 2 weeks so far. And the best consolidations are generally 2 to 5 weeks long. Those are the ones we like to see for breakouts. So the longer this consolidation goes, the more powerful the eventual move out of this consolidation. And we're going to be monitoring Bitcoin for potential breakout entry above this consolidation pattern, depending on the price action and how long the consolidation continues. So one potential way to consider buying Bitcoin is simply to wait for a breakout above this consolidation. So basically above the 53,000 mark would be a potential buy point. And the longer the consolidation continues, the better that setup becomes. Now, another potential setup is if we happen to get a shakeout one day, quick shakeout where we touch this 20-day EMA, and then we form a bullish reversal pattern, that could present a relatively low risk buy point with a stop below the low of that reversal candle as well. But so far, it looks like we're going to get just a correction by time, a sideways consolidation. Look for when this 20-day EMA continues rising. If this touches the price, that often is the cue for the breakout to happen. So watch this 20-day EMA as it squeezes up to meet the price of Bitcoin. And when that happens, be on guard for a potential breakout above this consolidation range. Looking at the weekly chart of Bitcoin, we see that we do have some resistance from its all-time highs. Going back to 2021, Bitcoin formed an all-time high of just below 69,000. So we've got some resistance from here all the way up there, but that's on the weekly chart, and that's multiple years back. So short term, for our trading time frame we're interested in, Bitcoin looking really solid, and this is one you want to keep an eye on. So there you have it, our top 10 altcoins on our radar: ETH, ALT, PYTH, SEI, RNDR, SUI, SUPER, FET, AGIX, and PEND. Okay, so put all these on your trading platform's watch list. Good idea to set some price alerts. If you want to know how to do that, sign up with TradingView. TradingView is a great platform, allows you to look at multiple charts at one time. And I'll drop a link here in the description. Don't let the learning stop with this video. On your screen, you'll see a selection of videos we've carefully curated for you. Each one is a gateway to deeper knowledge, more insights, and strategies that can amplify your trading success. Click on any of them and let's continue to explore the vast and vibrant world of crypto trading together. And if you're ready to dive even deeper to truly harness the power of the market's currents, visit us at MorpheusTrading.com. Click on Crypto Picks to find out more about our in-depth analysis and lots of information that cannot be contained in a single video. This is your portal to elevate your crypto trading game with the MTG tribe by your side. See you in our next video.